Hey, Shalom. Okay, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Okay, double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone, our elders of GMS, and salutation and peace and much blessings to the hopeful elect fellow laborers of the children of Israel that make up the people of Negro, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indian descent, that's laboring in this truth, Israelite foreigners who live amongst the heathen nations around the four corners of the earth, but are Israelites, their fathers, and the Akwath that's humbling himself as well. Shalom. So here we are on another Passover evening, the 23rd afternoon of the Passover here, which is to be observed later in the evening. Lord willing, this will be our last one. And what we're doing here is, I like this picture here where they splash the blood on the doorpost, so that the angels, the death angels will pass over them. Passover, okay? And as we are observing this solemn assembly, it's a serious assembly. It's nothing you can take lightly. You got to understand just go and read the history of it and try and place yourself in it, which more likely we were in it, you know, um, reincarnation. But place yourself in it and try and relate, and especially by watching this video I'll be showing you in a minute. But just try and relate and understand what's the seriousness of this matter, and again, you can't approach this as if it's some like it's just a party, man. And that's a foul spirit to have on you, like it's a party. And anyway, the scriptures will explain it much better. We'll go into it. But again, like I said, it's a solemn assembly. You go into the word solemn here, formal, dignified, not cheerful or smiling, serious, okay, characterized by deep sincerity. So those words that caught me is serious and sincerity, okay? So it's sincerity, just relating to what our big brother Yahushua went through, he experienced with, and having some remorse and, feeling remorseful. That's why it's a serious matter here, So again, let's do this here. And like I mentioned, the blood, where the death angel was to pass over those, the elect there. All right, so that brings to mind what's about to come upon Babylon, which is the terror of the Lord, which He's bringing here to destroy this place, and only the elect will be protected by the blood of Yahushua. Okay, so He's about to bring, and He's showing all the signs of He's about to destroy this place. And like I said, Lord willing, this is the last one, and and Lord willing, He destroys this place sooner than, soon, today. We in the spirit wished He destroyed it yesterday. Okay, but again, it's like I know I'm rambling, but let's just show you that this I take it serious. It's a serious matter to me, and the brothers and the Akim, which is also it's the house of David, the ones that's pushing this truth, in 100, and that are diligent. Okay, so let's go into these scriptures here, and it's not really this one here because I went into because I wanted the word to solemn. Deuteronomy 20:16 here it goes into the actual Passover, but the original. Let's go back to the original, the origin. When you go back to Exodus, and where can I start at the Passover land 12:1? The Lord spake. I'm gonna run through this pretty quick because I want to play this video for you. We can just fast forward to the video because, like I said, the video puts it into a more perspective view, understanding what Yahushua went through, the suffering He went through, and to understand what that suffering represented, and its ultimate outcome, which brought us right back in under the grace of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. So the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It's the first month of the year. This is it. This is the beginning of the year. All right. Month 1. Okay, it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And we're living under Babylon. We're living in Babylon under this filthy, foul devil's rule. We can't observe the days, these solemn assemblies, the way accordingly, because we don't have our own farmland, our cattle and lambs and so on. So we have to do it to the best of our ability, like the scripture says. Where rehearsing the righteous acts. All right. So 10th month, the 10th day of the month, they shall take of them to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbors next unto his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. So don't go out there and get no whole lamb breast or too much for you, especially if it's just a couple of you. Don't get too much, because it's not a meal that you pack up and you put in the fridge. I'm gonna grub on this tomorrow. No, just get enough for you and whoever, just enough for all of you. Like I said, no leftovers. And if there is, let it burn on that fire. If you're cooking yours over a fire, like a grill or whatever, an open fire, your lamb shall be without blemish and male. And again, we have to just deal with what we have to get out of those grocery stores, man, out of Esau stores. Because the meat that we're buying has been slaughtered, Lord knows how long ago, But we have to, again, we're rehearsing this righteous act. In the first year, ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. Okay, and they shall eat the flesh in the night, and that night roast with fire and unleavened bread and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Okay, eat not of it raw nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head with his head, legs, and with the pertinence thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. So it ain't something that, I'm gonna eat some of this tomorrow. I can't, you can't have that silly attitude, man. Do it as accordingly, as it says, and ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. And that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And that's the whole point of the blood. But look at it as the whole solemn assembly itself, that it's a spiritual thing, that the Lord is going to pass over his elect when he brings this destruction that he's going to bring, man. This is destruction that, when we speak of it, is we're going to always come short, because, again, we can only explain it like this. It's going to be a day like no other that this earth have experienced. Death, bloodshed, war, hatred, evils, Evils is going to rise in this day. And this is the whole point of us observing these righteous acts, is for this to pass over us. This destruction that he's bringing is for it to pass over us. So this is a spiritual thing that we're experiencing here. Okay? So look at it in a spiritual eye. It's a serious matter, man. It's a very serious matter. So let me do this here. Deuteronomy, there was one, here we go. Here in the Lord's Supper in 1 Corinthians 11:23, I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye, as often as ye drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Okay, so wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of Yahushua. So that's the video. What we're going, you have to view in with spiritual eyes, and this is where you're gonna get the understanding that, especially those that are inviting those to their Passovers that aren't worthy to eat. I mean, you're bringing these curses upon yourself once you. And again, this very precept here, the video will put it in perspective. The blood of Yahushua, but let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself. So you're guilty of what Yahushua went through, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Okay, wherefore, my brethren, when ye come together to eat, tarry one for another. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that ye come not together unto condemnation. The rest will I set in order when I come. So I want y'all to watch this video, man. It's a medical perspective, through a doctor giving a medical perspective on what the Lord experienced, which is horrible, man. Which is literally horrible. So let me let this video play, and I may come back with a couple more precepts.
Yeah, I believe that Christ's suffering and the demonstration of the kind of physiologic stress that his human body was under is manifested in the Garden of Gethsemane, where it's described that he was sweating blood. And there is a well-documented medical condition in which patients who are under tremendous amount of emotional stress and physiological stress can, in fact, sweat blood, because little blood vessels within the glands burst, and then the blood is expressed. The scourge involved the use of a short whip with pieces of typically metal, sometimes bone, sometimes pieces of porcelain wrapped in these leather straps, which is then utilized to come across typically the back, the shoulders, the legs of the victim. And the first few passes across a particular body part would tear through the skin, the fat, but eventually, once the outer layers were torn away, it would start getting in the muscle and the tendon. And of course, along the way, you're ripping through all the blood vessels that supply all those tissues. And so you're losing blood the whole time. The plant that was described actually had a very long thorn, not the little thorns that we would think from a rose bush. These were thorns that were typically 1.5 to 2 inches in length. The scalp is one of the most vascular portions of our body. It's got a huge blood supply up there. So then having those thorns shoved down into the, down onto the bony plate would have gone through all the scalp, which in and of itself would have created a huge amount of blood loss. I've seen people actually bleed to death from just a scalp injury. So this is not a small injury to have, who knows, dozens of these things shoved into your scalp. And so that would have caused more blood loss. Typically, when a victim has to carry the cross, what has been described in the literature, in actual Roman literature, is they describe they carry the crossbar, and the crossbar is estimated alone was estimated to weigh about 110 pounds. And of course, if your arms are stuck out here, wrapped up on the crossbar, and you fall down, you need help getting up. You just can't get up on your own because there's no possible way without your arms to get up. So he would have needed help getting up. If he fell over.
Sure, you're understanding something now. Let me read a precept for you. This is First Peter's 4:1. For as much then as Yahushua had suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin. Okay. And there should be another one. First Peter 3:18, for Yahushua also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to the Most High, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. He suffered for us. And again, listen to what he's saying. You know, what the horror that Yahushua went through. And he had to go through it just like we're going to have to go through what we're going to go through. You know, what we've been going through, what we've been experiencing. You know, Yahushua stayed faithful and he stayed strong, you know. We're to do the same thing. Okay. Let me continue playing this.
There's a good chance that he could have hit his chest, which then could account for the possibility of a cardiac injury.
It's like 1 Peter 2:21, for even hereunto were ye called, because Yahushua also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Anatomically, we consider the wrists as part of the hand. And so with the placement of the nails between the radius and the ulna, at that position, it still fits the definition of being in the hand, and it's in a position in which the nail won't rip out, which you have to have a solid point of fixation. Another interesting point about the placement of that is the median nerve goes right straight through that particular portion of the wrist. And so there would have been either destruction of the nerve or impingement of the nerve that would have created a tremendous amount of pain. So that every time you try to take a breath, it'd be agonizing. You'd be pushing down on spiked feet, which of course hurt, and then you'd be hanging on spiked arms. And so you alternate from excruciating pain to excruciating pain every time you take a breath.
Excruciating pain, no matter how you move, because it's a natural reflex for you to, you know, that's just a natural reflex. You're experiencing discomfort one way, and it's your body it automatically wants to look for another comforting position. But the whole time he was suffering excruciating pain, man. You know, this is Hebrews 9:24. For Yahushua is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of the Most High for us, nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entered into the holy place every year with blood of others. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world? But now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. Okay, the judgment. And Lord willing, this is it. This year, which Apostle Tahar deemed a year of, hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And we finish this 28. So Yahushua was once offered to bear the sins of many. And that's what I'm saying. The whole point is to understand that. And there are those that totally disrespects this and really don't care, you know? So there's a whole thing behind all this. There's a whole spiritual meaning behind this Passover. You know? So Yahushua was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that looked for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
So even if he survives the actual crucifixion, he would have had to survive what I believe to be a lethal injury from the spear to find out whether he was alive or not. What's described is the loss of water and blood, and that would entail either pleural effusion or pericardial effusion, and the blood would have come from either pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, the aorta or vena cava, or the heart itself. None of those injuries, unless you're treated immediately by a trauma surgeon like myself, with all the advanced equipment that we have, would be survivable after even a few minutes. Christ, as the Son of God, could have survived anything. He chose to manifest himself as a human at that point in time and allowed himself to die. And being human at that point in time, he could not have survived this particular series of traumas. It's not possible. Christ as God could have survived anything they threw at him. But he chose to be Christ, the human, at that point in time to die for our sins. And that given that self-limitation of remaining to be human, he died. He did not survive the event.
Okay, you see there? Now you can play it over. Just again, just pay attention to what he's saying. And he's saying it through from a medical point of view. And these people studied these traumas, and you see. So it's important that to keep this as a serious assembly, man, a solemn assembly, and not view it as, oh man, a delicious meal, or a party. So Judges 5:11, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gate. So we're rehearsing the righteous acts. Yeah, that's horrible. Deuteronomy, the 16th verse here, 16th chapter. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy power of the flock and the herd, in a place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coast 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrificest the first day at even remain all night until the morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice a Passover within any of thy gates which the Lord thy power giveth thee, but at the place which the Lord thy power shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy power shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. So there's a Sabbath as well. So I should let the video play again. And there's also another video. I don't have it. I thought I had it, but they were showing each stripe of the whip that his flesh experienced as well. Man, it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. You know, but these devils, they're going to have a lot to pay for, you know, because again, our hope is that he's going to pass over us. The death angel is going to pass over in that day. And now that I'm speaking with that, mention that, let me bring this here. Revelation 1. Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. So the death angel, Yahweh Shai, man, he's bringing terror. So again, looking at this day in a spiritual sense, and with spiritual eyes, man, that again, I keep saying it, it's a solemn assembly. It's a serious matter. So he's coming with vengeance. He's literally coming with vengeance. All right. And that's when he mentioned in the video, the doctor, when they pierced him, you know. So whoever pierced him, you know, your ass is, there's not a person on earth that's foolish enough that's going to want to experience what you're about to experience. You know, the terror of, you know, that he's bringing for you. He got you. And he's always had his eyes set on destroying you. Imagine that, whoever it is, some high-ranking official in the military. So I really just wanted to speak on it just a little and just show you this video, and hope you were edified. And until Lord willing, next time, Lord willing, Shalom.